Well, here we are again. Welcome back to Keystone Preparedness. If you're just here for the first time, thanks for stopping by. If you've come back as a subscriber, I appreciate it. And I do want to say thank you to all the new subscribers and welcome to the channel. I appreciate it. I hope you get something out of this. So here we are. More wonderful decisions by our court system. So now, according to this Newsweek article, illegals have the right to own firearms in America. Now, the irony of this is this was actually ruled on by an Obama-appointed judge, which is kind of ironic because those same these appointees from the Obama administration, the Biden administration, they want to take your guns as a legal American citizen. And if you do want to get one, you have to jump through hoops, which in some areas, you're still not allowed to do it. But ironically, if you cross over the border and you're here illegally, you can own one. Isn't this nice? So background checks for you, background checks for me, but how are you going to do a background check on somebody that is here illegally? Can somebody please explain this one to me? I guess this is never gonna end. I have to wonder if there's not another motive behind some of this. If you've noticed, there's been a push by a lot of these leftist politicians to allow illegals to serve in the military or serve as policemen. And I've got to ask, why are they so willing to give somebody that isn't a citizen the right to own a firearm, but they want to take our rights as American citizens away? And in this article, it was actually referring to a particular person who had got arrested and the charges were dismissed. And it said right in the article, well, they dismissed him because he's not a threat. He's not arrested. He doesn't have any felonies. I've never been arrested. I don't have any felonies on my record, but I still go get a background check if I want to buy a firearm. So we're almost getting to the point now. If you're here illegally, you have more rights. You basically have more rights than the American citizen. So my question is this: next time I go to purchase a firearm and I go to the counter, would it be smarter for me to just tell them I'm an illegal immigrant and they just hand the gun over to me? Is that how it's going to work? Because I'm very curious about this, and I guess part of me wants to answer the question, why? Why are we so willing to do this, especially in an administration that is doing everything in their power to take your right as an American citizen, your rights to own a firearm away, but we're, very quick to give them to people that are here illegally. I have to wonder what the ulterior motive is. And I don't like to throw conspiracy theories out there, but I have a few theories myself as to why this is. And it's basically the same reason that they want to allow these, we're allowing these military age men just crossing the border from every country imaginable. Because anytime you talk about illegals, right away everybody thinks Mexicans. And that's not true, because there's a lot of people coming across the Mexican border that are from Mexico, obviously. But there's also a lot that are coming from Venezuela, from China, from some of the Middle East countries. They just stopped a guy. I forget where they actually caught him at, and I should know this because I read the story, who basically said he was here to go to New York City to make a bomb. But that's okay, I guess. Just like the illegals that were let off in New York City after assaulting and beating those police officers, I want to say a month ago. So I'm going to go back to what I said. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we so willing to give illegals the power to, own a firearm, to serve in our military, to serve in our police forces? And I have a theory on this. This is just something I've talked about, that I've kind of thought about, and I've heard some other people kind of touch on this, maybe the same reason. Is this for when the unrest comes? Because let's face the fact, there are gonna be some resistance if things go sideways, and we see how now that let's face it, the Biden administration is using the FBI, the Department of Justice, to go after their political enemies. If you want to deny this, you're a liar or a fool, or a little bit of both, most likely. But so my question is this: if this is the path that we're taking, where we're going to start persecuting our political enemies, even when they're not doing anything, and we're starting to see that this is starting to happen. Is this because at some point you're going to have patriots in the military, you're going to have patriots in law enforcement that are going to say, no, I'm not going to fire on an American citizen just because the party in charge doesn't like this person? Which we're going down this path. I mean, this is starting to happen, and even some of these red flag laws are kind of touching on this. They're going after, veterans and things like that. Could this be a setup for something down the road where, because if you're not from here, if you don't have any allegiance to this country, which many of these people don't, they're here to take advantage of our system. They're here to take advantage of, whatever. I mean, and I think some of them are here for good reasons. I'm not anti-immigration at all, but I do think we should know who's coming over, especially with the unrest that we got going on in the world right now. So is this a setup for when they finally do drop the hammer and say, okay, we're going to start rounding these people up in your communities? The gun owners, the conservatives, the MAGA hat wearers, anybody, the parents that dare go against the school board, because if you're from the local community, I mean, we'll use this as an example because they've already done this. They've listed, we're allowing these people come over we don't know, but we're labeling parents that speak up at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. So, but if you're in your local community, there's a good chance that you may know your local police force. You may they may be your neighbors. It's going to be a little bit tougher to get them to go and say, okay, well, we don't like this guy because he spoke up at the school board meeting, so we need you to go to round him up. At some point, some of these sheriffs are going to stand up. Some of these local police are going to go, I'm not doing that. That guy is not a threat. I know that man. He's speaking up for his children, and they may even agree with you at some point. But it's going to be a lot easier to tell that guy that didn't live in your community, that's not even an American citizen, go round him up at gunpoint, whatever you have to do to stop him. He's not going to feel anything again, about honestly shooting one of you. Let's be real. Let's say what it is. There's a good possibility that that's what this is about. Send in a National Guard. Well, some of those National Guard members are going to be local communities. They're going to be people that think the same as you do. Excuse me. But if you give somebody a gun that doesn't belong to your community, it has no ties to your community, it's going to be a lot easier for him to pull that out and say, okay, Mr. Keystone Preparedness, you're coming with us because we don't like the way you think. That's going to be a lot tougher. There's going to be a lot easier for them to do it because they got no ties to you. And I truly believe that there's definitely an ulterior motive to this from the administration. That there is. This isn't just like, let's be kind to illegals week. This is definitely a setup for something that's going to go bad for the American citizen. I mean, we can always, if you can't see now that they don't give a damn about us or our safety, because it's ironic, because I go back to it. They're doing everything in their power to take firearms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. They're trying to limit your scope of how much you can defend yourself, defend your family, defend your home, defend your property. But yet we're willing to hand over firearms to somebody that is already a criminal. They're here illegally. If I break into a building, I'm there illegally. Guess what? I lose my right as an American citizen to own a firearm because all of a sudden now I'm a felon. But if you come here illegally, you've never paid taxes, you don't have a background check. And that's my next point. How are they going to check this? If I go want to buy a firearm, you want to buy a firearm, you're getting a background check. And there's a good chance that it could get kicked back for no reason. That doesn't mean it's automatically going to come back. I mean, typically you're probably not going to have a problem if you've never had any, trouble with the law. But they're so hyped up. The left is so hyped up on background checks for everybody, and we have to do this, and we have to do that. How are you going to check somebody that's here illegally? Based on what? They're not in our database because, God forbid, we know who these people are. So what is the criteria now? So is it rules for thee, not, for me and not for thee? I mean, I really want to know, and I'd love to hear your comments down below about this because honestly, this is, it's every single day now. It's every single day it's something new. And, you know, and ironically, you know, the same channel that I'm doing this video on will limit me on even being able to talk about a firearm on here, let alone show you how to use one. You know, there's a good chance just speaking of firearms in this video could get this video shut down. There's a good possibility. And I'm not monetized on here, so at this point, you know, they're not going to demonetize me. Obviously, they can't do that. But so, you know, even you know, in some of our media platforms, I can't even speak about firearms, but we're going to give somebody that doesn't even belong here in the country the right to own one. So anyway, just like I said, once again, more wonderful news coming out from our wonderful government. So, like I said, definitely comment on this. If you have a thought, if you have a feeling on this, maybe you have a little bit better knowledge about it, maybe you have a little better insight than I do. You know, I just think it's kind of ironic that an Obama-appointed judge, you know, is willingly just giving firearms to whoever wants it, as long as they're from the other side, you know, as long as they're here illegally. But you, as an American citizen, well, good luck with that. We're going to do everything in our power to take them off of you and limit your right to self-defense. So anyway, please comment again. I appreciate if you are just stopping by. If you could like and share this video, I'd appreciate it. And once again, thanks to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And thanks to all my returning ones. I really appreciate it also. And I hope to see you guys again soon. And maybe one of these days we'll have something positive for the American people to report on. But as the way things are going, it kind of seems like it's going to be the opposite for quite a while. So anyway, take care of yourselves. God bless everybody. And I will see you on the next one.